Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to patch a damaged drywall. This fix is so easy and involves just a few steps, and anyone can do this. So I had cut openings in my dining room ceiling to fix an issue with the subfloor of the bedroom that's directly above the dining room. So I already have drywall pieces that fit right in this hole. But if you happen to punch a hole through the drywall by accident, you need to recut the hole to make an opening that's rectangular or square shape, so you can easily make a piece of drywall patch that will fit inside that opening. And the principle behind fixing or repairing drywall is that you need to install pieces of wood support to provide a secure surface to which you can then attach a piece of drywall to cover the hole. So here I'm taking a piece of stick which will serve as the surface to screw on the drywall patch that'll cover up the hole, and the length of the stick has to be long enough so that you can secure this support piece of wood onto the existing drywall with screws. So here I'm screwing the wood to the drywall, and so I'm putting the screw on and holding on to that piece of wood, and then the screw will go through the drywall into the wood. And then I was starting to put the screw in the other end of the stick, and then I just decided to put on a face mask because pieces of drywall were falling onto my face and into my eyes. So I'm just using a manual screwdriver, but obviously if you have like a power tool, like a drill that you can put like a screwdriver bit into, that would make the job much simpler. It's just that because I'm working from below and looking up into the ceiling, I just didn't want to be holding up a heavy power tool, so I just decided to go with the manual screwdriver. And so I'm like making sure that the wood piece is on securely. And then now I'm putting on that drywall patch, attaching it, and so I'm gonna use a screw to screw in that drywall piece into that support piece of wood. And so I'm gonna put a screw into one end and then put another screw into the other end. And so what's shown in this video here is my installing just one piece of wood for demonstration's sake, but and what you don't see is that I actually had to install a couple of pieces of wood for a hole of this size. You can sort of tell there's that jutting, the piece to the right that sticks out, that wasn't being secured with just that one piece of wood. It was sort of kind of jutting out. It wasn't flush with the existing ceiling, and so I needed to put another piece of wood behind that part, but you don't get to see it. That part. See, that's bothering me. And so there you see a bunch of screw heads, because I had screwed in the other part with put it more wood, and then I had covered up the other hole as well. And now I'm just putting some spackle or some joint compound. I think they can be used synonymously. What you're supposed to do, if you're gonna do this right, is to put some joint tape over the gaps, but I just skip that part. I like to do things sort of like quick and dirty if I can get away with it. And I unless the gap between that patch and the existing drywall is really big, I don't really do that. I don't really put any kind of joint tape. I'll just put the spackle directly on. And so here I'm just putting some spackle or some joint tape all along the edge, and then also covering up the screw heads. And then what I'm doing is now I got a putty knife that's a little bit wider, and I'm gonna spread the spackle, spread it out so that it's thinner and it's more flush with the ceiling, because what you don't want is just put gobs and gobs of spackle, because then you have to sand it all down, and that's a lot of work. And so you want to put a thin layer on, as thin as possible and as flush with the ceiling as possible, so you don't have to sand so much. And then here I did put quite a lot, and then now you're seeing me sanding the spackle down. What you don't see is that I'm actually using a wet sanding block, so you still don't see me dipping and rinsing that sanding block in a pail of water, but that's what I did to sort of reduce the amount of dust that gets generated. And then now that the spackle has been sanded down, I'm painting. And so I'm just painting and painting and painting away. The quality of the job, the repair job, is gonna depend largely on how well you've sanded the spackle down. So otherwise you're gonna be able to see the repairs area really well if you haven't sanded it down. And I actually did a pretty lousy job, and so not only that, after the paint has dried, you can totally tell where the repair was, because even though I used the same can of paint, for some reason it just from certain angles you can't tell at all, but in other angles, and when the light shines in a certain way, the paint actually looks a little different. So it just goes to show you that you really need to, if you want things to look perfectly, you're gonna need to just repaint the entire wall, and in this case it would be the entire ceiling, but I didn't do that because I really didn't care. Even if people can go, oh, what happened over there, did you have a leak, or which isn't the case. This is just all work that I've created for myself. And so here's what the ceiling looks like after the repair and the paint has dried. In this light, it doesn't look that bad, but in other light, it looks really bad. Anyway, if you found this video and the instructions helpful, please click on the subscribe button below. Thank you.